Hello, this is Prealgebra Course 3, Lesson 4 in the Saxon math book. Our objective for today is how can we solve word problems with multiplication and division. You'll know yesterday we were working with addition and subtraction. So still kind of the same concept. We're going to try to solve for a single letter, whichever one we're looking for. But today, instead of using addition and subtraction, we're going to be using multiplication and division. So the basic format when we were trying to solve with multiplication or division is something that looks like this, where we have the number of groups. So maybe there's 10 groups of chairs or 10 groups of people. And then the second part is the number in a group. So each group of chairs has 3 in it, or each group of people has 5 in it. And so if you multiply those together, it will equal the total, like the total number of people, the total number of chairs. So we kind of just abbreviate this into n times g equals t. N being the number of groups, g being the number in each group, and t being the total. So let's look at example 1 real quick. It says, in the auditorium, the chairs were arranged in rows with 15 chairs in each row. There were 360 chairs. How many rows of chairs were there? So we're going to use the same equation. N times G is equal to T. Well, it said 15 chairs in each row. So that tells us the number in the group. There's There's 15 chairs. So I'm going to replace that G with the 15. Then it said that there was 360 chairs. So that's kind of our total. There were 360 chairs altogether. So I'm going to replace the T with the 360. So that means the only piece I'm missing is going to be this N. So notice we now have this equation that we got from the words, and we're going to try to solve that. So we know n times something is equal to 360. So we're trying to get that n completely by itself. So what I'm going to try to think about is what is the opposite operation of multiplication? Because right now it's being multiplied by 15, so if I can do the opposite operation, then I could get n by itself. Well, the opposite operation is division. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this side by 15 and divide this side by 15. And a thought bubble over here for a second. What is 3 divided by 3? Well, that's an easy one. That's just 1. What is 17 divided by 17? Well, that's just 1. What is 15 divided by 15? Well, that's also just 1. Also think, what is 1 times 4? Well, that's just 4. What is 32 times 1? Well, that's just 32. What is 374 times 1? Well, just 374. So we're going to use these two principles when we're solving this. The first one here is that notice we have a 15 divided by 15 right here. Well, we know from right over here, 15 divided by 15 is just simply 1. So I'm going to change this. So this 15 divided by 15 becomes n times 1. And that's going to equal to 360 divided by 15, which comes out to be 24. Well, and then we're going to use this next principle right down here. Any number, like 4 times 1, gives you back to that same number. 32 times 1 gives you 32. 374 times 1 gives you 374. So that same principle will apply right here. N times 1 will just give you n. So then I have n is equal to 24. Well, what is n again? N is that number of groups. In this case, number of rows. So my answer, since I have a word problem, I'm going to have a word answer. My answer is going to be 24 rows. There are 24 rows. Turning the page here to example 2. And whenever I say example 2, I'm actually meaning we want to do example 3. Example 3 says, Corey sorted 375 quarters into groups of 40 so that he could put them into rolls. How many rolls can Corey fill with the quarters? Explain why your answer is reasonable. So again, we have the same idea here. N times G is going to equal T. So we have 375 quarters. That's going to be our total number, so I'm going to replace the T with 375. And then it says in groups of 40. So that means each group has 40 in it. So it's going to be my G, the number of coins in each group. And again, I'm wondering how many groups we have. So we're going to be looking for that N. And I do not know why I wrote a plus sign there. That should be a multiplication sign. Sorry to confuse you. So same principles that we just used. N times 40, opposite operation is going to be to divide by 40. This 40 divided by 40 becomes 1, so I'm going to have n times 1 is going to equal, again, if you work this out, you will have 9 with a remainder of 15. Then we know that n times 1 is just simply n. So n is going to be 9 with a remainder of 15. Now, again, word problem means word answer. So what did they ask specifically? It says, how many rolls can Corey fill with the quarters? Well, Corey can fill 9 rolls completely, and then he'll have 15 left over. So I will just write that as my answer. Corey can fill 9 rolls of coins. Again, word problem, so word answer. If for some reason you were looking for the total, that would be even easier to solve, because you just have to multiply the number of groups times the number in each group. Just multiply those two together, and you can get the total. So it would be, you wouldn't have to use this whole principle of dividing and multiplying by 1. So it'd actually be a fairly simple problem there. So I hope that helps you understand. Your homework for today is down here on the bottom. I think you can see that. It says your homework starts on page 18. You need to do all of them that have a 4, meaning all of them covered in this lesson, all of them with a 3, which would be review from yesterday's lesson, and then you can choose 8 more of your choice to finish up your homework there. Good luck, and I will help you more in class if you have questions.